I need more power. Welcome back to the channel today, guys. Today is the day at last. The Eminence in Shadow Season 2 is here, and I am so ready. Man, we've waited forever, but the day is here. Now, before we get into it, I'm going to keep it a buck with you guys. I always do. I didn't love the opening. I did not love the opening. I'm disappointed by the opening, actually. I really wanted it to be, frankly, better. But it wasn't. It's alright. It's not bad, but I didn't love it. So, little disappointed with that. And I will say, it's probably the only time I'll be serious this episode, is that we really, and I mean really, kind of sped through content. We were in the Lawless City like that. I didn't even think we'd hit it in the first episode. I thought at the end of the episode we'd hit the Lawless City, but nah, we're there in 5 seconds, basically. Wild. So, we're gonna speed through content. We skipped a scene with Claire that I'm really surprised we did, actually. Maybe they'll move it later, but I don't know. But it's a little worrying, but I still have faith that we're going to stick the landing here. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it and talk about Eminence in Shadow, Season 2, Episode 1. It's time to cringe. You know your season is going to be fire when the first shot of your episode is literal buns, bro. Literal booty cheeks in your face. You know it's gonna be a good season when that happens, baby. As we see our girl Delta still got that dog in her. Quite literally. But it's here. It's time to transition to the man we all came to see. As we transition to Shadow Garden and we hear, there's been no conspicuous activity by the Cult of Diablos in the Midgar Kingdom since the incident at the Bushin Festival. It's all going exactly to your plan, my lord. Now we can set our sights and focus our main efforts on the situation in the Oriana Kingdom. Part 2 of the season. But there is a troubling bit of news. As we're suddenly told, there's been a recent acceleration in the flow of funds going into the Lawless City. As Beta says, that region doesn't belong to any nation. It's a giant slum where evil, wealth, and power of the world converge. The perfect place for an eminence. Any tensions that occur in that region could have an immeasurable effect on the rest of society. As Gamma says, although we'd like to focus all our efforts on accomplishing our plan, unfortunately I must suggest that we dispatch additional personnel to immediately. But it's here. It's enough of that talkity talk, as our eminence says. I smell it. And immediately, everyone's just going around like, oh shit, is that me? That me? I got blood on me? Damn, I kind of smell. Did I not take a shower today? What the fuck? And it's here as we close that window to keep the stank out, we notice a red moon in the sky. As everyone says, huh, that moon looks kind of red, don't it? It looks just like the legendary, as our boy Sid says, it's the red moon. As the shadows say, it's the tragedy of 1,000 years ago. Then the Lawless City will. No, if nothing's done, all surrounding nations will be subjected to cataclysmic damage. But it's here our real leader of Shadow Garden says, silence all of you. If that is an omen of the red moon, we cannot merely sit here and gaze idly at the sky. Unless. But it's here our boy Shadow says, no, let me handle the money. I mean this matter. As we hear, you intend to go there alone, your majesty? As he tells him, bitch, who do you think I am? As he says, fear not, the moon has turned red. That is all. Do you not find the moon to be just as beautiful when red? Gaze upon it as it makes me look badass in its light. As our boy Sid says, man, get these girls involved and the legendary blue moon comes to life in the blink of an eye. Seriously, their ad-libbing skills are totally worthy of an Academy Award. 10 out of 10 acting. It's just kind of a reddish moon. No big deal. And it's here. We jump straight into the Lawless City with these two frickin' jabronis from Season 1. Goldie and Quentin. As they say, the Crimson Tower, ruled by the Blood Queen. One of the 3 rulers of the Lawless City, huh? Not even the corpse-raiding vultures dare to get near it. But it's here all of a sudden. We hear ominous laughter. Very common with this show. As we hear, you vermin aren't worthy to pass through this gate. The only ones authorized are servants or guests of the Blood Queen and powerful warriors. As Goldie says, we are powerful warriors, here to hunt the Blood Queen. Good one, Goldie. That's a good one right there. Woo! As our mystery man starts laughing too. He clearly sees it as a joke as well. As he says, I thought I was a fool. Which is why I always find it so amusing to find someone more foolish than I am. Yo, same. And as he rips his cloak off, he says, this is what happens to fools who dare challenge the Blood Queen. I lost my right arm and now I'm kept here as a pathetic watchdog on a leash. As Quentin says, we're not small potatoes like you. And I'm sitting here like, Quentin, please shut up. I can't keep laughing like that. As Goldie says, my power level is 4,317.5. As our mystery man says, I was like you once. They called me the White Devil. As they're like, Nani? The White Devil? The wanted criminal with a huge bounty on his head? Who the fuck else? As he says, ripping apart idiots like you who don't know their place is the only joy I have left in life. And as he lunges at them, I think we all know how this is going to turn out. Come on now. Because it's here. We transition to our next day as we hear, this is perfect. The Lawless City's even more of a dump than I imagined. As Claire tells him, stop gawking. We don't want to catch the attention of any weirdos. Far too late for that. As Sid asks her, aren't we going to go to that tower? I kind of want to go to that tower. She tells him, are you dumb? First, I'm going to the Dark Knight Association for a strategy meeting. As Sid says, I never saw that back home. And she tells him, it's because we have our own Night Order, dummy. The Dark Knight Association is an unofficial organization, founded for Dark Knights that don't belong to any public institutions. Basically, the Reject Squad. And it's here our boy Sid starts summarizing what happened in our previous season. Exactly like I hoped he would. You know, just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. That kind of happened. That happened a bit. That kind of sucked. That was a bit of this that happened. That happened too. Ooh, that was kind of fun. And here we are. As we learn that Claire won the Bushin Festival Championship. After all the relevant people were out of the tournament. But still, she won. Good for her. To celebrate, I used my connections with Gamma to get dressed up for a free, high-end, fancy dinner at the Mitsugoshi restaurant. As Claire says, I'm going to the Lawless City to exterminate vampires now. Tee-hee. And then here we are, at the Lawless City. It's that simple, guys. As Claire tells him, I brought you here with me out of consideration for your future, you know. If you stay behind me and do everything I say, I'll pry open a spot for you in Midgar's Night Order after you graduate. As Sid's just like, she's trying to bulk up my resume to make me a government employee. Fuck's up with that? Come to think of it though, I haven't really considered what I'll do after I graduate. Claire will inherit the estate out in the boondocks. So they'll probably just stick me at some job anywhere, maybe as a, city guard. As he tells her, as long as I can do what I want to do, I don't think I care what kind of job I end up with. Frankly, same. As she asks, so what do you want to do? And he tells her, it's a secret. I make it a point not to tell anyone the things that really matter to me, Claire. And she tells him, alright, so you're just making that up. Good to know, Sid. As he says, whatever, it's fine. But she tells him flat out, no, it's not fine. It's not fine at all, Sid. As he notices that she's genuinely trying to think of his future right here. And real quick, before we continue, they really did cut an important scene with Claire here before we get to the city. I'm kind of surprised they did that, because it really expands upon their relationship and how she genuinely just wants the best for him in life. She does care, even though she's very overprotective, trust me. But she does genuinely care about him. But enough of that gushy shit, because it's here! We got some new quality pets to look at, guys. What a selection! As this man says, come take a look, miss. These lucky finds just came in this morning. Like this one, the pet Dark Knight, Little Goldie. He's quite the handsome specimen, a perfect fit for such a lovely lady. As she says, he's all beat up. As our seller says, nah, I guess he did get a little banged up in transit. Oh, you know those delivery men. As Sid's like, you know, he looks kind of familiar. Where'd I see him last? But it's here we move on to selection number 2. Cue Ball Quentin. What a combo deal. What do you say? 2 pets for the low price, 40 million zenny? That's a bargain. Claire's like, he's been sliced through his midsection. As our seller's like, all right. 37 million zenny, but I can't go lower. As Sid's like, you know, I think I've seen him before too. What a small world. As Claire tells this guy, sorry, but I have all the pets I need right here. Ain't that right, Poochie? As the man says, I see, so you prefer younger pups. I get it. And as they walk away, she tells him, Sid, if I don't keep dragging you like this, you're gonna get lost. As Sid says, I'm not gonna get lost. And she says, yes, you will. I know for a fact you will. And lo and behold, he does. Who'da thunk it? Who'da seen it coming? And it's here's our boy Sid's just walking through the city. This man gets pickpocketed like 8 times. And every single time, he gets his wallet back and steals their wallet at the same time. As he says, you know, it's always been a dog-eat-dog world out there, guys. I can't believe I'm getting all this money just by taking a stroll. This city's heaven for me, man. This shit's great. But it's here as he's walking, he notices these guys just beating the dog shit out of someone over in the corner as he says, so that's a ghoul, huh? A vampire underling. I heard they had, like, a lot of HP, but I guess around here, they're just everyone's punching bags, because of course they are. It really is a dog-eat-dog world, huh? But it's here, as it turns into nighttime, and our red moon shines brighter than ever. Shit's about to go down. As Sid feels a wave of magical energy spreading throughout the city here. And it's here. Our ghoul starts fighting back. As Sid says, a human bitten by a ghoul turns into a ghoul themselves. Apparently, that was only a rumor, but it's actually true. As we see it happen before our eyes. As he realizes that the red moon is stimulating all the magical energy in town. If I don't do anything, they'll just keep multiplying. And it's here! We have an important decision to make, guys, as Sid says. Do I run away like a background character as usual? Or do I say, what happens in the Lawless City stays in the Lawless City, am I right? And try to do the mysterious young man act? Decisions. But it's here as a mysterious woman suddenly walks by and thinks Sid's about to get devoured here. She steps in and takes the ghouls out in a single swing, as she introduces herself as Mary to him, the ancient vampire hunter, as she tells him, run if you value your life. The frenzy has begun, and the moon is red. We're out of time. As Sid's just like, what is this feeling? The thrill in my heart. Did I just find someone cringier than me? My God! I'm in love. And it's here as we transition to our next scene. We see that Claire finds out that Sid is not in the inn, But to be fair, she should have known better. Come on now, Claire. And as we transition to our next scene, they really added Bulk and Skull back into the season, man. Unbelievable. Now, real quick, in case you guys don't know why I call them Bulk and Skull, it's because they are so perfectly like Bulk and Skull from the OG Power Rangers show. They just remind me so much of them that throughout all of season 1, I called them Bulk and Skull because it fits so perfectly. Their names are even kind of similar to it. So that's how I refer to them, in case you didn't know. As we see, they came to the pleasure ward to get their little things wet. Let's leave it at that. As we see, the city is descending into chaos right now. Ghouls are everywhere. And as we transition to our next scene, I'm kind of surprised they kept this scene in, honestly, with the context matter that it is. As we transition to a prostitute. Someone who definitely hasn't had a good life in this city, that's for sure. And as she hears all the commotion outside, she tells herself, I'm trying to wallow in my misery here, guys. Can you shut the hell up? As she notices the city is going to hell quick. And it's here as her room suddenly gets invaded by ghouls. It might be the end of our promiscuous friend right here. That is, until the Eminence in Shadow comes and saves her life. As this motherfucker Sid says, run if you value your life. The frenzy has begun, and the moon is red. We're out of time. As she says, wait, who are you? As he says, I'm Shadow. And then literally dips out right there. This motherfucker stole Mary's whole shtick! Talk about unoriginality, Sid! What the fuck? What happened to showmanship? He stole her whole routine! What the fuck? And then here's her friend barges in the room. It's quite a interesting situation. As she says, what happened? And she says, a man named Shadow saved me. As her friend says, you mean the Shadow? He's the evil mastermind who had a field day beating up the corrupt clergy. He's at least as dangerous as any of the rulers of this city. Oh, way, way more. But it's here this girl thinks to himself that he couldn't be a bad guy. He saved my life. Just looking at his eyes, she could tell that. Our boy Sid's an idiot, but he's not inherently a bad guy. As we see that through his actions, she decides to leave this city and better her life. As she says, thank you, Shadow. I will be a whore no more. And as we transition to our next scenes, guys, a tragedy has occurred. As Claire is crouching down, crying, saying, I'm so sorry, Sid. If only I hadn't brought you to this horrible place. As we suddenly see Mary appear again and say, are you the woman going around asking about a boy with black hair and black eyes? As Claire says, I've already found him. Look how they massacred my Sid. As Mary's gotta tell her, that boy doesn't have black hair or black eyes, you know, right? As Claire's like, what? Who the hell are you? You lied to me, headless man! As Mary tells her, you know, I met 2 men who matched that description. As Claire just tosses this random dude aside. As Mary tells her, the first I saw was when the moon was beginning to turn red. He was standing in front of a rampaging ghoul and smiling like a fool. As Claire says, that's not him. My brother may scream, but he would never smile. Yeah, okay. As Mary says, I saw the next one a few minutes ago. He was a young dark knight with no noticeable features. A nobody. As Claire says, holy shit, that's him! Tell me where he is now! As Mary tells her, he was about to be taken away by the followers of the Blood Queen. As she realizes that they took him to the Crimson Tower. As Mary says, your brother is in that tower, the Blood Queen's castle. Maybe. The vampires wish to offer him as a sacrifice to the Blood Queen. As she starts explaining to Claire that to awaken Blood Queen Elizabeth from her 1,000-year slumber, They require the blood of a living young man. They've kept that fact secret, biding their time. Waiting 1,000 years for the night that would give the vampires tremendous power. The night the red moon would rise again. As Claire's like, now that you mention it, that moon does look pretty damn red, huh? And it's here! They get attacked by ghouls, as Claire says. Anyway, Sid's in the tower, right? And if they need the blood of the living, then he's still alive. As Mary tells her, my target is the Blood Queen Elizabeth. To find her, I also have to go to the tower. As Claire says, then we're heading in the same direction, Mary. Let's work together, miss. As she tells her, Mary, I'm a vampire hunter, in case you couldn't tell. As she says, I'm Claire. And as they slash these ghouls, I like to think that between them, they're thinking, holy shit, did we just become best friends? And they're both like, hell yeah, we did, baby. Best friends for life. As Mary tells her, it'll be difficult to get in from the ground floor, but there is a way. As Claire says, I'm coming for you, Sid. I'll find you there. No, she won't. And it's here as we transition over to the Knights Association. These guys are trash, bro! They literally leave their captain here to die. As they say, I don't give a damn about your association's honor. I'm getting the fuck out of here. They don't pay us enough for this shit for ghouls. And it's here as the building gets overrun. They get saved by a wild eminence in shadow. As he repeats the shtick again. Come on, Sid, a little originality would be nice here. As they realize he's the wanted criminal. As he tells them we have little time remaining. And it's here we start to get into our actual story. I know, guys, crazy. As we hear, Lord Crimson, preparations for the sacrifice are almost complete. And our takeover of the city is going as planned. However, we're meeting some unexpected resistance in certain locations. As Crimson says, we know who's behind that. The fools who babble on with their nonsensical ideas that they are my equals. Yukimi, the spirit fox, ruler of the White Tower. Very important character this season, actually. Juggernaut, the tyrant, ruler of the Black Tower. Not as important. Let them play their games. They will meet their end as soon as the Blood Queen revives. But then his assistant, who looks like Shirogane from Kaguya-sama Love is War, by the way, I noticed that, says, there's one other, though. There's someone going around the city killing ghouls. And it's here as we transition to Yukimi and the Juggernaut taking out all these ghouls. They can't help but start fighting each other as Juggernaut says, go to hell, she-fox. As she says, you truly are a thorn in my side. And it's here as this petty squabble occurs, we see a god is descending down. As Shadow says, nothing changes. Someone somewhere may be trying to spin a new tale, but I do not change. I only continue on my quest to become the Eminence in Shadow. As this man jumps right in the middle of their fight, with the biggest dick energy imaginable. As they say, who are you? And he says, I am Shadow. He who lurks in the shadows, in order to hunt the shadows. And on that note, our episode ends. Damn, I'm happy this show's back, guys. It's crazy. I know I'm gonna have fun editing this video, actually. I'm so happy. Yes, they did go through this pretty quick. In the first episode, I didn't even think we would get to the Lawless City, guys. I thought maybe at the end of the episode we would get to it. But no, we were there super quick. Which is whatever, They might bring up the conversation that Claire has with Sid later in the season. Because I do think it's actually important what they talk about. But if we don't get it, it is what it is. I could tell you guys at a later date what it's about. But Man, I'm so happy, man. Look how much I'm grinning like a fool right now. I'm so happy right now. I even made this video extra long for you guys just because it's the premiere, baby. I had to do it. So let me know your thoughts on the return of Eminence in Shadow, as we have a perfect little arc for Halloween, actually. The Blood Queen arc. Shit's gonna be really fun. So again, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And until next time, I hope you all have a great day, week, month, and year. And until then, deuces, have a blessed day, and I will see you guys next time. Deuces.